What do you think is the solution to this whole debacle in Israel? How do you get peace? Do you have any answers that nobody else knows?
It's very hard, you know. When I was first time in Israel, I went to a shuk, a store. That's where a butcher, and before were three little boys, a child, and they have stone in the hand, and they were over their little pigeon, and they killed the pigeon with the hand, small children. Then they grow up, what you think they will be?
Good morning, everyone. We must stop the propaganda to which Palestinian children are being exposed.
הלימוד האלה נכנסו לתוכנית הלימודים רק בנובמבר האחרון, והשנאה ממש נוטפת מהם.
These textbooks do not give Palestinian children an education, they give them an indoctrination that basically, profoundly poisons the minds of these children.
I went back to NASA, and on education, he shared,
the Palestinian people have the highest number of people with PhDs in the world. They are the most educated, in the Arab world. They are the most educated population in the Arab world.
I could not verify the fact that Palestinians hold the most doctorates in the Arab world, but I did find that Jews, which are 0.2% of the world's population, that's 2 out of 1,000, contributed 163 out of 750 Nobel Prize awards. And the Arabs, Islam, which are 20% of the world's population, 2 out of every 10, had 7 out of 750 Nobel Prizes. Maybe the world should leave Israel alone so Israel can focus on helping the world with even greater contributions to medicine, science, and the arts. Let's just say the Middle East is not short on intelligent people. Even Palestinian Prime Minister Muhammad Abbas holds a doctorate degree. His doctorate is actually a denial of the Holocaust, but nonetheless, he's an educated man. To quote Abbas, quote, "The Zionist fantasy, the fantastic lie that 6 million Jews were killed," unquote. So, the peace negotiator for the Palestinians doesn't even recognize his adversary's most tragic, darkest, horrid time in history. But he has a doctorate degree. 14 years later, when Abbas was appointed as the Palestinian leader, he acquiesced and admitted to the Holocaust, but diminished the millions of deaths to 100,000. I am a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by learned engineers. Children poisoned by educated physicians. Infants killed by trained nurses. Women and babies shot, burned by high school and college graduates. So I am suspicious of education.
We will be right back. And now, today's edition of The Promised Land.
I really believe with all of my heart, and I pray that my people are watching this, will get this into their heart and think about this. The battle that we are fighting in the Middle East is not a political battle. It's a spiritual battle. And that battle is not going to be won politically, it's going to be won spiritually. There is no answer. There is no political answer. There is no answer for that in Washington or in Europe or anywhere else. The answer is right here. When we all come to know the truth and God's plan. You know, when I started reading this Bible and realized that I was not fighting the Jewish people. My people, the Palestinian people, or the Arab altogether, are not fighting the Jewish people. They are fighting
What did you learn?
God.
When did you learn that, Tass? At what point?
Right after I got saved and began to read the Word of God and realized from the Old Testament God's promises to Isaac. He promised them the land. It is clear. Even the Quran says that God gave the land to It says in Surah 17, in the verses 100 to 104, it says, and Allah spoke to Moses and told him, I have given the land of Canaan to the Israelites as an everlasting inheritance for them and their children after them.
Wow, that's in the Quran.
And it's in the Quran. And as a Muslim, I never saw it. I never saw it until after I got saved and I began to study the Quran even closer than I've ever studied it. And I began to see these things. You know,
it seems like a lot of people maybe don't see that when they read it then. We wouldn't be having this. We promised we wouldn't talk politics here.
No,
we're not.
We're not really talking politics. But I really feel it's an important part. I want to share from my heart about me personally. When I used to read the Quran, I wasn't thinking about what I was reading. And I really believe many of us don't think about what we're reading. We take it for granted because we were born Muslims and it is the word. But when I began to read the Quran after I was saved, I began to see things that I was not seeing before. And one of these things is the fact that the Quran said that the land belongs to the Israelites, Canaan land. So that by itself gave me peace to believe and to stand for the right of Israel to exist. And I'll be willing to stand for that right big time.
Coming from your past or being a Muslim.
Yes, and I pray that many of us will come to see that.
Yes.
There are many, many Muslims are coming to the Lord all over there, supernaturally.
Welcome back to The Crossover.
So, education exists on both sides. Doctorates on both sides. Obviously, not enough for peace. All Holocaust doctors had PhDs, so education alone isn't enough. Education needs to be attached to another ingredient called morality. And morality comes from the living Word of God, the Tanakh. God promises peace in the Mideast for Arabs, Israelis, Muslims, Christians, and Jews when they all accept Messiah as Lord. Isaiah 19:24. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land? Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. In closing, we learned a great deal of the situation in Gaza. We learned that pro-Palestinian demonstrators shouted half-truths, like comparing Gaza to a concentration camp, and would rather destroy Israel than acknowledge that the Jewish people and the government of Israel have been and always will be promoting peace and stability in the region. To the supporters of Israel who protested the presence of Palestinians of all places at the Holocaust Museum, we say keep up the good fight, never stop promoting peace. And how can peace exist in the Mideast when the youngest of children are raised and indoctrinated with hate in their hearts and pages missing from their history books? NASA, we hope and pray that you will support peace and the dissemination of truth. And to the rest of your supporters, we say promote education and peace rather than the demonization of Israel. Shalom.
You've been watching The Crossover, joining Jews and Christians through our God. For more information on today's program and The Crossover, you can contact Mitch and Rosalie by following the information on your screen. The Crossover team welcomes your comments, prayers, and suggestions. Thank you again for watching The Crossover.
Of Abraham, Isaac and Israel.